Global happenings today. We communicate. We analyze global news.
Hello, good people. Welcome back to our channel. The fight has begun again in Rivers State. This one is a fresh one coming from the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Amaewhule, to similarly Fubara. See the outburst, see the lambasting, and you'll be shocked. Let's watch the video and be back to discuss more.
Public schools in Rivers State, particularly at the primary and secondary level, are generally in a deplorable condition. It's a fact. The reason is because of abandonment by people who are supposed to be doing the needful. As at yesterday, the House Committee Chairman on Education found out that one teacher is teaching two classes. Two classes are in one classroom being taught by one teacher. Primary 1 and 2. So the teacher will teach primary 1 small, a little, while primary 2 is listening to primary 1 class. Then primary 1 will stop listening, while the teacher will teach primary 2. Maybe they are blocking their ears, and they are in the same classroom. No toilets, no electricity, yet that school is sharing fence with the PhD headquarters. No light, no electricity, no security. That same school is directly opposite the police headquarters. Meanwhile, vandals have taken over the school. They destroyed the little facilities they had before now. The worst of it is that upon what we said when this motion came up, nothing has happened. The Rivers State Executive Council has not done anything. They have done nothing to remedy the situation. This is a sad commentary. Something has to be done to our schools, for our children, for the future of these states. Our primary schools and secondary schools cannot remain like this. They cannot remain without teachers. When the last administration was leaving, the plan for the employment of people, I think 10,000 staff across the states, took place, interviews. What has happened? People were not employed. But when it is time for protest, funds will come for people to go and protest. When it is time to employ teachers and make teachers to be in the classrooms, there will be no money. We cannot continue to keep quiet. We cannot continue to fold our arms while our children continue to suffer, while teachers continue to cry. How would anyone believe that in the year 2025, in a state like Rivers State, one teacher will be teaching two classrooms under one roof? How will anyone believe that a school that is very close to the government house, in the year 2025, that pedestrians will be called to come and teach people because there are no teachers? This is an abomination. It is an aberration, and it is unacceptable. Something has to be done. We will not allow this indolence to continue. We are the only people mandated by law to fight for our people, fight for our parents. Parents are crying. The complaints we are getting, the pictures they are sending to us are coming from parents, from township school too. The other day, somebody went to a school in Eche and saw children inside the classroom with even weed on their roof. How the weed went to the roof and they are letting on that, I don't imagine. I'm trying to remember the name of that community now. It's appalling. Is it that we don't have funds in the states? Of course we have. As at the time the administrator Ibas was leaving, he left over 600 billion naira in the accounts of Rivers State. Over 600 billion by October. Can such funds be used to remedy the situation in our schools?
All right, welcome back. This is interesting, I must say. Though most Nigerians are like, this is how the legislature should behave with executive. It shouldn't be both of them partnering together. There should be room for, criticism and all of that. But what's your standpoint on this outburst, considering the fact that he's pointing finger at some of those things that have been abandoned by the Rivers State government under similar Fubara?
Why River State is quite unique. It's not because of anything. It's good for, there should be some sort of synergy or some sort of checks between the legislative arm and the executive arm. But because River State have been known to be having issues, fracas, and we all know that when it comes to the issue of Martin Amaewhule, Wike, and Fubara, it will not end just like this. It will start like this. So before you know it, another idea of impeachment. I believe very strongly that we saw the first. I said it some few days ago that it has begun. That already the supporters of Nyesom Wike are already calling for the sacking of ADC Nehi, the chief of staff. That said because he's not a trusted ally of Nyesom Wike. Or some persons were saying that's not true already. Just to tell you that it's already brewing. Martin Amaewhule is not to get fault in the executive arm in Nigeria. It's not difficult. It's not rocket science. It's everywhere. So when you see some of this legislative arm keeping quiet over some of the things going on, it's not because there are none. It's because they want to work in synergy. But this time around, you can see that there's from what I'm gathering already, there may likely not be any synergy anytime soon. Yeah. And now don't forget that they had told Fubara to bring his list and other things. Fubara had just been playing it cool. We all know that, let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's not be politically correct most times. We all know that this particular peace deal they had was a peace deal signed by some persons, not that they really enjoyed it. Every time there's a call for both of them to meet, you just see Martin Amaewhule, if he can avoid it, he will totally avoid it. There's something like this thing is discussing now. If they were in synergy and if there was true peace, it's not to come to the house and start lambasting Similalayi Fubara.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
It would have been a case of going to meet Similalayi Fubara in his office. Our schools are not doing fine. No, guy, you check them. It's even opposite. But look at me, he's shouting at the primary 1, primary 2, as if that's in other places it's not sustainable.
But we have to be clear here. Do you think that if it was Wike that was on board, this kind of thing would have happened? Now, first of all, don't forget that these schools, most Nigerians are asking some questions, and that question is, are those things just happening now? This issue of teachers, one teacher teaching 2 schools and all of that. Don't forget that the previous administration concentrated more on infrastructure. Education was not really something they look at. So Nigerians are asking this question. Did they complain about this during Wike's time? Because I know that he was already there in the house, though not as speaker, but was this kind of thing brought up?
Let's tell ourselves the truth. Is referring the same questions to Martin Amaewhule. Was it not the same Fubara that increased the salaries of teachers, employed more teachers? It was still the same Fubara. Fubara was a civil servant. So you understand the dynamics. If I tell you that Fubara increases that to the point that teachers started teaching the students, the pupils, on how to sing a song in praise of Fubara. If he did something bad, sincerely speaking, they won't be singing their praises. And let's tell ourselves the truth. Obviously, there could be pressure, but Fubara had increased the number of staffs, civil servants, cut across the state. He can't be everywhere at the same time. He's taking it one step at a time. If they are not interrupted, maybe by now there would have been enough hands in the system.
Now, there's another thing that a lot of Nigerians are saying right now, that maybe seeing that the speaker may be eyeing 2026. That's what most Nigerians are saying. So for him to be brought in, there must be, reasonable crisis on ground. Apart from crisis, that's a failures, announcement of multiple failures on the part of the government. Do you think that this is a situation? And another question I want you to jointly answer is the case of Similalayi Fubara looking into educational sector, because I believe that for him to come out to say this, that means there's a problem there. Don't you think that more teachers should be employed now that this kind of issue has been brought up?
Well, I think Fubara should act swiftly if that's the case, and I think it's within his PV to do that. I don't think it's difficult. If he can increase salaries of civil servant and even give them 100,000 naira every December when he was on seat, this is piecemeal. Anything for the good of Rivers people, Fubara has been known to always be there. Then, secondly, this issue of Martin's Amaewhule eyeing the seat of 2027, I think it's dead on arrival. The question is, do the Riverians love